Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are talking about the STAR Advocacy Program with the National Fragile X Foundation. My name is Holly Esray Rose, and myself, along with Dan Whiting and Denise Devine, are going to provide you with information about the STAR Local Advocacy Program tonight. So we're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. This is a really important program at the Foundation, and we're excited that you want to learn more about it. So, whoops. There we go. I wanted to start with a quote because I really love quotes. And this quote is about advocacy, which is appropriate. It says, advocacy can propel a brand unlike any other paid or unpaid media because it unlocks the networking power of one-to-one relationships with a key of trust. And we've really built so many fantastic relationships over time throughout our advocacy work that I thought this was a really great quote to start with. So there's a lot of things that we hear all year long, not just at Advocacy Day, not just before and after, but all year long. But there's really a big buzz around the time of Advocacy Day that we do the beginning of every March. We hear a lot of people asking, what can I do from home? How can I stay engaged all year round? One of the things we hear a lot of is, I want to do more. I want to be more involved. And this is one really great way for you to become more involved. So the National Fragile X Foundation STAR Advocacy Program was piloted in 2015. Currently, the program leads are Dan Whiting, myself, and Denise Devine. Dan provides all of our legislative input. Denise is our volunteer mentor, and I help oversee all of the volunteers. So if you're wondering what STAR Advocacy is, STAR stands for State Teams for Advocacy Results, and it's a local advocacy program to establish year-round relationships with members of Congress through visits to their home, state, and district offices. So not just doing advocacy once a year when we're in Washington, D.C., but doing advocacy all year long on a state and local level. Our local advocacy leaders are encouraged to reach out to members of their community, their family members, their CSN groups, other members of their community to participate in this exciting effort. So when we're looking at what the purpose is of local advocacy, it actually has multiple purposes. It's an opportunity for Fragile X advocates who are unable to go to Washington to be able to play a more active role in advocacy. This really is an amazing opportunity to reinforce the messages that the advocates carry out in DC all year long, just reinforcing those messages on a local level while they build those relationships. It helps establish an even stronger relationship with our members of Congress, and that's really important. It allows siblings and self-advocates who may not be able to go to DC to travel to participate in DC at a national level. It allows them to go to the state and local offices to participate in local advocacy, which is a great way to introduce your member of Congress to Fragile X, and it helps our children or the siblings to really feel involved and to be able to participate in a level that's much easier for them and allows them to be successful. It helps to further educate our members of Congress about Fragile X on an up-close and personal level. So I'm going to pass it over to Dan, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the insider's perspective of advocacy.
Yeah, for those of you that I haven't met, I'm Dan Whiting. I'm the new Director of Communications and Government Relations for y'all. Been about a month now. That's my spiky little head in that picture. Where you can't see the rest of the face. So we're meeting with staff from Senator from Maryland, who happens to be one of my senators. I joined in, and they're a key supporter on our ABLE Act stuff. So for those that don't know, I worked in the Senate staff for 11 years. And part of that time, about 3 years, was actually in a state office. So I did, would have been the go-between with the folks that you're going to be talking to. And I want to step back just for a moment, actually, and talk about the importance of you all interacting with your member of Congress. I think Tip O'Neill's, the former Speaker of the House from many years ago, was famous for saying that all politics is local, and it, even in this day and age, can't be more true. At the end of the day, it's that local voice from the district or from the state that's really going to tip the scales in our favor. And so it's all the more important for you guys to speak up. And when you visit at home, it further underscores that this voice is coming from the people that vote for them. And so reaching out is excellent, excellent advocacy. So you don't have to come to DC. We're going to have some training for those of you that want to sign up, but you know, when we dig into this, it's important to keep in mind that staff come, or senators and members of Congress come home, you know, during recesses, and a lot of members of Congress come home on the weekends too to work on that Friday or that maybe that Monday morning or over the weekend. So all kinds of opportunities to invite them. It could be just requesting a meeting on a one-on-one or with a small group, or it could be inviting them to an event you all are having, or you know, to say a few opening remarks at a walk or another type of fundraiser. Anything that gets the word out. Again, a lot of those details in our trainings and how-tos and things to do and things not to do, and how to find out when the congressional recesses are, and how to reach out to the local and district staff. But for now, I do just want to encourage and underscore that this is a critical component to our advocacy efforts.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. So currently, and actually this isn't completely current, but before we went to Washington earlier this month, we had 21 volunteers representing 16 states, and those were the Startup Volunteers as the pilot program. We did do a brief introduction to the STAR program there, and we have had about 15 people express interest since then. So that number already has almost doubled, and we look forward to growing it even more. And as Dan said, we will be providing training and more in-depth answers. So right now we're just kind of giving you an overview, and then for those who are interested, we will be reaching out with all of that in-depth information. So our map is still pretty sparse. We look forward to filling it up and seeing this program grow and having that year-round advocacy on a local level in all of our states. So I can tell you all evening long reasons why you should be a part of this program. Dan and Denise can tell you all the reasons why it's great. But we wanted to ask some of the members who are currently a part of this, you know, kind of what their feelings are and share those with you. So we reached out to 4 of the different STAR advocates who have been really involved since the very beginning. And there's, out of the 21 who are involved, narrowing it down to 4 was really challenging because those who are involved are all really very, very involved. But here's 4 telling you a little bit about why this is important to them and why they think you should get involved. So we're going to start with Robin Blackwood from South Carolina and hear her thoughts.
Hi, my name is Robin Blackwood. I live in Greenville, South Carolina, and I have a 7-year-old son named Sam who has Fragile X syndrome. I was really excited to become a part of the STAR program about 1.5 years ago when it was provided to anyone who wanted to put a bigger focus on advocacy throughout the year. And I was eager to learn more and so that I could be more effective. And the STAR program has really taught me a lot. It gives me that continual nudge throughout the year to follow my politicians in both local and a national level. I have learned and gained a lot of tools to build the relationships that I have now with a lot of the staff of the U.S. and state legislators. It's a really important program that I hope will continue to grow.
If you're part of the STAR advocate, or I'm sorry, the advocacy group, the Foundation Advocacy Group on Facebook, you see Robin posting quite a bit. She is really great with putting updates out there and being very encouraging of others. And we're very happy to have her on board. Andy Selinger from Connecticut has been an advocate, gosh, for as long as I've been around. Tammy and Andy do a tremendous job advocating and are very involved in the program. We'll be talking a little bit more about them later, but first let's hear what Andy has to say about the program. Oops.
Local advocacy is important. It gives us the opportunity to connect with our members of Congress throughout the year in addition to Advocacy Day. Our objective is to meet in their offices and stay, but it's difficult to get on the calendar, so we find creative ways to meet with them, such as town hall meetings, other events such as election parties and social events, and even house meetings.
In a little bit, we're going to talk more about the work that Tammy and Andy have done and the outcomes of that. They're also our CSN leaders for the Connecticut group. We're very, very appreciative of having them along. Lori Armour from Virginia is another one of our STAR advocates who's very active, and here's what she has to say. Oh, goodness.
My favorite part about the STAR program and advocating on a local level is the personal relationship that I have built with my representatives and their staff members. Not only have they learned about my family, but I've taken the time to learn about theirs. They seem more attentive when I can start conversations asking about themselves and their families. I also keep them up to date with any latest research and any news that comes from the Fragile X community. They now see me as a resource for Fragile X and those affected by Fragile X in our area.
So Lori is one of our CSM leaders from Southeast Virginia. And as she said, one of the great things about becoming a STAR advocate and the work that they do is you really do become a resource. You're a liaison between the foundation and your members of Congress, and you really are a tremendous resource to them that they really do appreciate. Finally, we have Jed Seifert from Maryland.
Hi, my name is Jed Seifert. My brother has Fragile X, and I'm part of the STAR program in the state of Maryland. It's very important that everybody joins the STAR program. It's a pivotal program that enables us to maximize our success in helping to raise awareness, make sure that we ensure funding for Fragile X. And the reason why it's so important is because a lot of people come to Advocacy Day, and that's fantastic. But seeing your senator or your congressman one time a year, it really does not make the same impact as building a relationship with them, seeing them throughout the year. And it's not just the relationship with the congressman and the senator. It's the relationship with the other advocates within your community. When you go in on Advocacy Day and the people already know your name, and you've built those relationships, and it allows us to be that much more impactful. I really think it's very important that people get involved with the STAR program. I love it, and I'm here to advocate for my brother.
And Jed does a tremendous job advocating. And as he said, one of the great things that we see come from this is the community involvement. With Maryland, they have a huge contingency that comes to Advocacy Day in Washington, but they also have a very active group that goes to all the local meetings as well. So, while you may be attending some by yourself or just with your family, it's also a great way to work in, meeting with other family members in the Fragile X community and getting them involved on that local level as we build those relationships. So the STAR advocate role, it's really such an important thing that we have here. And as a STAR advocate, you will build and foster critical relationships with your members of Congress and their home, state, and district offices. You'll also serve as a liaison between these offices and the National Fragile X Foundation, helping to develop a reliable grassroots movement across the state and country. I'm going to pass it on to Denise Devine now. Denise is going to talk more about the responsibilities of our STAR leaders. Denise has been very involved in advocacy for a long time with the National Fragile X Foundation. She runs our Western Massachusetts group and has been a tremendous resource for us throughout the years and a great help at Advocacy Day every year. She lines up our mentors and has always taken on a lead role in advocacy. So we're really thrilled to have her in this position. Denise, I'll pass it on to you.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for coming. The responsibilities, take a leadership role in engaging with your representative via multiple avenues to help foster relationship between the National Fragile X Foundation and members of Congress. That collaborate with your local community support network by attending meetings and or providing email updates. I'm guessing not everyone on this call is a leader of a community support network, but I'm sure most people would have one near them. And that's a great start, because there you have a group of people that are already committed to Fragile X, and to go and visit them. I, as an example, visited Eastern Mass Group, and just basically told them about the program, kind of one-on-one. It was nice in one of the regular meetings, just talking to them about the STAR program. Another responsibility is to attend the local advocacy day when you can, when possible. Receive elected officials' email, mail communications, monitor and track the elected officials' district activities and public events. That's a great way to get out there and be able to engage them at that level. Attend town hall meetings and other public forums to engage on issues that impact people affected by Fragile X. I actually went to a town hall meeting for one of our senators, and it wasn't specifically about, even healthcare issues, but it was just getting out there, getting your face out there, seeing the staff one-on-one also was a great way to connect with them too at that public meeting. Schedule and conduct in-district legislative visits. Raise awareness of key policy issues by utilizing multiple media strategies. Attend calls and webinars with STAR program staff and volunteer leaders. And complete post-meeting forms online through the National Fragile X website. Coming soon. Yeah, and that's a great thing too, because then we can, kind of see how people do with their meetings, how, if there was questions asked, if there was, okay, take the picture, the group picture, right, of everybody who is there attending with the member of Congress, and then post that, and it would encourage other people to join. And that's another thing that we really want to do. We want to see that map filled up with all the states being represented with STAR, and that's just the start of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denise. So as we grow, which in some states we've already taken a huge leap in the number of STAR advocates that we have, and we anticipate seeing this as we continue to grow the program even more. And we are looking ahead, so as we grow the program beyond just filling up all of those states on the map, but having multiple advocates in each state, we will look at developing a state lead for each state. In Connecticut, Maryland, some of those are probably ones that are going to be taking this position first, because they have so many that are involved, which is awesome. And that state person, that state lead, will assist in the coordination of tracking the STAR advocates in their state, tracking the results, and serving as a primary liaison between the foundation and the state volunteers. So they'll take on even a bigger role. So we will have some of those positions come available, those great volunteer opportunities as we continue to grow the program, and we look forward to reaching that point in all of our states. So does this work? That's a great question, and it's something that, I know that every year when we're in Washington, D.C., I know I'm asked it, I'm sure Denise and Dan have been asked it before, does this work when you're at home, taking the time to go to those town hall meetings, inviting your members of Congress to your events, going to their office, does it work? And we have a really fantastic example of that. I said that we were going to talk more about Tammy and Andy Sellinger, and I'd like to do that right now. So Tammy and Andy have a son and a daughter, Brian and Jody, who have Fragile X, and neither one of them, or definitely Brian, isn't in a position where he can come to Washington with us. However, they have taken Brian to local events, which you can see here. And Jody, who is fantastic, if you were at Advocacy Day, she created those gorgeous cards that we use to send our thank yous on. So they've taken them, to different events, town hall meetings. They've met once in the parking lot. They've made the attempt to make those and build those relationships over the years, and have been incredibly successful at it. They're members of Congress both on the state and on the House and Senate sides. Both are very familiar with the Sellingers and their family, and definitely with what Fragile X is. And one way, which is really tremendous, that we've seen this come forth is every year Tammy and Andy, who are the leaders of our Connecticut group, hold an educational event. And they had invited their senator to come speak at the event. And while he was unable to attend, he did send the following, which I want to share with you because it really demonstrates the power of what we do at a local level and the relationships that can be built and the difference that's made there.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Murphy, United States Senator from Connecticut. I want to say hello to all my friends in the Fragile X Society. Want to apologize for not being able to be there in person for your educational conference, but you know I'm there with you in spirit. You know that I am every single day a friend, in particular Tammy and Andy. Thank you for continuing to be such great leaders of the Fragile X Society in Connecticut, and congratulations on so much that you've accomplished. I mean, let's start with the ABLE Act. Let's start with the idea that we, now have a vehicle by which families and parents of children with Fragile X and other conditions, diseases, or disabilities have an ability to save in a tax incentivized way that didn't exist. I mean, this is an important new vehicle to be able to make sure that your loved one is going to have something there for them when they're an adult, have something there for them perhaps when you as a parent are no longer able to be there to support them. Let's think about the $2 million that have been authorized for the research that matters to you in the pending labor HHS appropriations bill. I sit on the appropriations committee, and I like to think that I'm there in part to fight for scientific research funding. Let's talk about the fact that for the first time in a long time, we're making dramatic advancements in the amount of money that we put into NIH in the first place. Flatline funding. For most of the time since I've been in the United States Congress, we are now looking at some pretty big increases. Last year, $2 billion. We're hoping for $2 billion again this year, so that we can start doing new research rather than just funding existing research. There's a lot of things to celebrate, but of course, as you know, so much more work to do. So I look forward to seeing you all when you come to Washington. I look forward to being a part of your events as you continue to organize them back in Connecticut. You really do have an outsized voice. Compared to what is still, luckily, a relatively small number of people suffering from Fragile X, but that's what political activism and advocacy is all about, and you do it very well. I hope you have a great conference. I look forward to hearing about the products of it, and I look forward to working with all of you for years and years to come.
So really a tremendous example there of the relationships that can be built and the differences that can be made. When you know somebody, who you become to know somebody on a personal level like that, they want to make a difference even more, and they really want to be involved. And we've seen this across the nation with groups who have reached out and worked with that local advocacy and really made it happen. So we hope that you are now ready to get involved. We would love to have you be a part of the STAR Advocacy Program. To be involved with local advocacy, you very simply are simply going to start by filling out the application form. So you'll go to the Fragile X website, fragilex.org, and under Advocacy, click on STAR Local Advocacy. And it'll take you to a form, really simple to fill out, just basic information. It'll just take you, 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30, if you have a lot to tell us about your existing relationship with your member of Congress. And then you quickly hit Submit. When you're done with this, I get a copy of it, and Dan gets a copy of it, and then I will reach out to you by email. Right now, I've been reaching out to let everybody know that we have your email. We have you on our list. We are working on a training video that we're going to have available within the next 2 weeks. So we'll send this out to everybody who's expressed interest along with the opportunity description. That's a lot of what Denise went over with, what the responsibilities are. And then I'll set up a follow-up phone call with you to answer any questions that you may have. I'll be sure you're connected with Denise, who will be your mentor through everything. And we'll start helping you get those meetings scheduled. Dan will provide the legislative direction for your meetings, and we'll get you going. As Dan mentioned, we have lots of information that will be in that training video to really help you feel comfortable in what you're doing. So it makes it a great time to start building relationships, and we look forward to helping you foster those relationships and get involved with your local members of Congress, and really become involved in local advocacy. So do you have any questions for us? We have Dan, Denise, and I all on the line here to answer questions for you. If you have any questions, I can either take you off mute, or if you'd like to type a question in, that would work as well. Denise and Dan, while we're waiting to see if there's any questions, if you have any follow-up that you would like to add on, now would be a great time.
Yeah, I did want to add just a couple things, Holly. I should have mentioned this earlier, but I think this year is a great example when we're in DC at the beginning of a new Congress. Sometimes it's hard to have good asks because bills aren't introduced yet. In this case of this year, I mean, they're still trying to figure out the current year appropriations. We're trying to talk to them about next year's. And the point being is, and then with the transition for the presidency, he doesn't have a budget out yet. And so as this year progresses, we're already starting to see new issues pop up, which is all the more of an important reason that we have folks willing to meet with the members of Congress and senators throughout the year. So, and secondly, I would just add, I know, watch Senator Murphy's video, and a lot of times groups like, oh, we didn't get him to come, we just got a video. But keep in mind that, he took his time to make that video and to understand the issues enough so we could talk about it for a few minutes, and that's a great way for that to be implanted in his memory. And trust me, they remember when they do videos for groups. They don't do them all the time, and so it's a great way to, even though he didn't come to your event, to put it in front of them and continue to educate.
Absolutely. I know Tammy and Andy were super excited to have the video. I would be thrilled to have that.
That's a great attitude. Great
right?
attitude.
To have my senator make a video for an event that we're doing, right. I can keep that forever. But that's fantastic. It's also a great way to take that further with reaching out to your local news affiliates as well to show their support. So the first question we have is from Tammy and Andy, and they want to know if you were part of the pilot program, should you still fill out the application? No, if you were part of the pilot program, we already have you in our list. You're already included in everything. We will send you the training information just so you're at the current up-to-speed level with everybody else. We want to be sure everybody's on the same page, same playing field. So when we have that ready to go out here in the next couple of weeks, we'll be sending that out to you. But we already have you on the list, and you are already good to go. And Tammy and Andy said they were extremely excited about the video, which I knew they were. I heard about it shortly after they did from them. And it's definitely been an awesome thing to see. Fantastic. Are there other questions? Denise, did you have anything to add?
I did have one thing I wanted to just say, that if there are people that did start the pilot program, and we may, be calling them for some tips on when we're doing the training video. So just to keep, if there's people on the call now that are part of that original group of people, yeah, we'll probably be going and trying to, tap their brain a bit about some of the things on the training. Because
absolutely.
It's not like just us three have all the answers for how to do this.
Don't tell our secrets. No, that's exactly right. We talk in the Fragile X community a lot about how it takes a village, and that goes for everything. Not just the 4 advocates that you saw, but Stephanie is incredibly involved and active, and there's so many that are already signed up that are out there, and they're fantastic resources for us. And we want to be sure with the training that we're really comprehensive and that we're not missing out anything. So we want to be sure that we're on target and getting everything included there. So we'd love to brain pick around here and collaborate and work together. So excellent point, Denise. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think too, having a training video and a very a little bit of a structured way to kind of go about this, I think will ease people's apprehension of maybe joining. Because it'll be, a framework set up, and that's really a great thing that's happening now. Because before we were kind of, I'm not going to say winging it, but sort of, we were saying, okay, well, how do we start doing this? And then, people had success and then they shared their success with others, and people tried the same approach. So I think that having the framework will be really encouraging to get folks all across the country joining.
Absolutely. I think it's such a crucial part of all of our programs to have that framework and that foundation laid so that as we grow, we can definitely more easily track what's going on out there, who we need to follow up with, and the great success stories that come with it. And we're really able to make this program something really tremendous. And so with everything, we've come a long way, and we've still got a ways to go, but we're definitely on the right track. Okay, I don't have any more questions on the screen. So Dan or Denise, any last words?
Just a shout out to the Kaplans in South Florida who just signed up.
Absolutely, awesome. Awesome, and they just had an awesome bit with one of their members of Congress on the floor talking about Fragile X. So again, talk about building relationships. That's another phenomenal example of the great relationships that we can build, and the awareness that comes from it.
Yep.
All right, well, we appreciate your participation this evening. If you haven't signed up yet, we do hope you will sign up soon. Again, just go to fragilex.org and under Advocacy, look for the STAR Advocacy button and sign up there. It's pretty simple, and then we will be in touch. Dan and Denise, I definitely appreciate your participation tonight and your guidance in the program. We look forward to growing it. We hope everybody has a great night. If there's anything you can do, feel free to reach out to us at any time, and we are here to help you. You can always reach me at holly@fragilex.org, or Dan is at dan@fragilex.org. If you want to reach Denise, you can reach her at westernma@fragilex.org. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.